All right, so sorry, I saw something on the phone. I wasn't sure how I have to kneel down. The passenger side of this vehicle is jacked up. I tried to level it out for y'all a little bit. Hopefully it's not so distorted. I forget, I got the mic too. And I got the stand today. So this 2008 Chevy Express 1500 failed inspection for a few things. The lower beam on this side does not work. The third brake light is apparently out. Needs a lower ball joint and inner tie rod on the passenger side. I'm just going to go ahead and do the outer tie rod too, since we're there. No, I mean, what? I mean, I don't know how much it is. I got the parts coming on the way. I just talked to the parts people. I mean, what's another $35 or something like that probably when you're already in there. I double checked the boot. The boot was zip tied on to the rack on the inner side. I think what we'll do, and the boot looks fine. I don't see any rips, tears. So I think what we'll do is we'll just cut the old zip ties off, try to put stronger tension on it. Hopefully it'll, because it popped off of the rack side. But since the last Chevy Express GMC Savannah we worked on with the whole lights problem and then the blower motor resistor, I figure since this is pretty simple, I will just record it. Let me see, because and remember, we got a spare headlight last time. Look at that, foreshadowing. So let me get y'all a little, well, I guess that's okay. Maybe I should actually level y'all out, yeah. Because I had y'all a little too far down on this side trying to compensate. All right, so what you want to do with these vans is you can technically get these headlights off and on with the grill on it, but I'll be honest, it's kind of tight. And these cheap tin holders for these things, the brackets always break off. I do not know why they're just tacked on to each other, the tabs. I just threw, if I can find it real quick. Yep, there it is. Oh, sorry, that might have been real loud for y'all. And I'll show you when I take it off again, or take it off, but these little things, so they go on like this, the screw goes on, and then it's almost a square tin to hold the light on. But if you can see, I don't have a light. You can see, I don't know if I can help you. Here, let me refocus. You see they're just tacked on there. They always come off. Always. So anyway, I find it's just best. These grills are not hard at all to take off, and I'm going to show you. That's why I'm going to go ahead and record it, since last time I was fooling with headlight system on one of them. You just got to get these off, the side marker blinker lights. There's 2 bolts behind that. They're all 10 millimeter. There should be a 10 here, but this one's missing. And then here, here, and here should have push clips. A lot of times they break off. So what you want to do is get a flathead. Can y'all see me? I'm trying to just kind of keep it all, yeah. So get a flathead screwdriver, and sometimes you need to just kind of pry the light out a little bit. There is a plastic clip, and it's not hard to miss. You just get it right in the dead center over there. It pops out. There is 2 prongs that hold it in on this side. And what we're going to do is we're just going to unclip our bulbs. So that's what I'm talking about right here. This little clippy doodad, you just push in on it and then pull with the flathead screwdriver. It will come right out. I've never had one break. Thank goodness. God knows if you can even get the, well, I mean, I'm sure you can. Man, this harness is real short on this side. But we got enough room to do what we need to do. Wiggle that off. Set that to the side. We'll get a 10 mil. Let me put this back so I don't lose it. Something I always try to do. Put tools back. Alright. Where can we set these? Set them on the table. Be smart. It's an original bolt? Yeah, it is. No, actually, I don't know. I think someone has misplaced or used the wrong one on the upper bolt. I think it's hard to tell with older work bands. Oh wow. Okay. So the clips are, well, that one's broke. There's no real good way to do it. Just pop it. Am I missing something? I don't know why I felt. Oh. So there's some alignment studs right here next to the bolts. This one too. I don't know if I'll be able to show it. Let me make sure I don't rip these harnesses for the marker lights out. Yeah, and sometimes if they've been in a front end collision, this bumper will kind of keep you. Oh, well, not on this one. It was a clip. But I've seen it where sometimes the bumper will actually hold this back because this kind of sits down just a tidbit behind the bumper. But anyway, I doubt y'all will be able to see it. But this thing has been sitting kind of low, eating into these studs. They call it a groove. That's what was going on that first time. I couldn't get it to pull out. Alright, so, ooh. I wonder if that's an AC leak. Let me get my UV light. Looks a little green down over here. But on this bigger stain, I don't see anything. It might be a small little leak right there. You got to be careful with, you got to know what you're looking at too, because honestly, the way that kind of look, it doesn't really glow real hard. It could just be dust and dirt. Sometimes certain dirt and stuff will glow. You got to be careful. And it could just be some other type of liquid. It doesn't really seem like it was very glowy, however you want to word it. Dorman does make these parts, these housings for these lights. And in my experience, unless yours is completely rusted out or you've been in a front end collision and had it damaged, a lot of times you're just going to be buying it to get this housing. Because unfortunately, I mean, maybe the internet, but like regular parts stores, you're not going to get this tin housing. I say tin, I don't know what it really is. I'll let that dangle there for a second and I'll show you. And they do only go, they're only going on one way, as you can tell with the distance of the bolt holes. But this is what I'm talking about. These things are just tacked on and they get so weak over time. Be careful with them. I've even I had them break off and I've tacked it back on and it lasted a while and it broke again. So I'm just gonna kind of check. Yeah, it's bottomed out. So I just want to double check for corrosion like we did the last time. Because while it doesn't need to be some intricate type of system, it is rather open. Got some spider web and cobwebs. I mean, I'm not really seeing anything. I mean, sure, there's some corrosion, but definitely not nearly as bad as the last truck we did. All right, let's go grab our other light. Throw this old whirly bird away. Go to my little storage shelf back here. If anyone's wondering, a Sylvania H6054. I don't know. It says the color is still yellow, but it says brighter light. But that's at least this Extra Vision Sylvania headlight for these things, H6054. I'm not too familiar with, I mean, I see them sometimes. I believe they still make them, the brighter white lights. But if it's anything like the bulbs in a car, like a car you would get, they probably don't last very long. Another thing too, now this is way back in the day, but there's little, let me see if I can get it. There's these little, it's a triangle. And what they would do, this is a machine that hooks up on these nubs to align the headlights. The alignment is actually on the housing and whatnot. And I imagine, I mean, even though it's a relatively symmetric system, I imagine it probably affects the light projection. So just be wary of that. The writing is right side up. The number one, the top point triangle goes up, and the two lower ones go down. And what's really cool about these lights too is they got these stubs, these stoppers for the harness, so you can't push it any further, damage anything worse type of deal. Let me make sure I got this holder orientated correctly. Looks like we do. What I like to do with how a lot of things kind of go with cars, when you're tightening something down, going a crisscross applesauce pattern. I put one screw in, And then I will work on the other corner. And after that, you should be good to go. It should align itself up after that. If not, you might have to kind of wiggle, like right there. The light's trying to pop out. I'm sorry, y'all are right behind me. I'm trying to kind of see myself so I don't break these stupid things. How, for the life of me, they never changed the strength of these things. Yeah, that's what exactly I was about to say. Sometimes you might not want to tighten something down all the way until you got all the hardware in, because right there it was misaligned. So I should have followed my own rule, but hold on, cockeyed. There we go. Okay, one last screw. Make sure you get them in, you know, at least finger tight, or know that you got it threaded in a few threads, because they're little teeny screws. If they pop out and you lose them, you may not find them. Oh, that's stripped out. Okay. Well, luckily we got 3 more. You don't have to crank down on them. Just get them the German good and tight. There you go. Now everything, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just double check. Okay. Looks like we got both lights. Cool deal. Not that getting to the light is that crazy compared to like a Yukon or something, but you might not want to have to do it twice type of thing. Before you set the grill, make sure you get your marker harnesses through the hole. Sometimes I have forgotten, and they get wedged in between the grill and whatnot, and then you got to take it back off anyway. So I'm trying to align this bottom one up. There we go. That one I don't even think has it on this side. I mean, they're pretty straightforward. It's not hard. And that's all there is to it. Don't forget that you have 2 bolts, 2 10mm before you put the side markers on. Will the grill fall off? Probably not, unless you forget every bolt and every tab is broke off, but since it's not my vehicle, I want to be making sure. Alright, we're not going into anything. Since it's not my vehicle, I don't want to have a comeback type of deal. Yeah, I don't think this is the right bolt for the top, but and be careful tightening these bolts up with the plastic. I have seen quite a few times where someone has used an air or a strong electric wrench. You tighten these up too much, you'll crack them. Sometimes you got to make sure the seal for the connector is pushed back all the way and not cockeyed and whatnot. And other times they just act like they don't want to seat fully all the way in. You got them pushed in all the way, but they just, I mean, we're past the lock. I just didn't hear a click. I noticed these GM connectors are rather soft. That one went in all right. And then just line up the inner part with the prongs, and then just find the little hole, give it a little tap, boom, it locks in. I like GM connectors. I don't tend to break off the locking tabs on a lot of them unless they're next to the motor where they get a lot of heat. I don't know if it's because they're kind of softer plastic or something, but I do tend to like them. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just look at the third brake light. I fixed the third brake light on this thing. Actually, let's just go ahead and look. I'll straighten y'all up a little bit because I had to do some wiring issues because they just throw equipment on the back of this thing. And I had to fix some wiring and stuff. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. And here we go. I'll guarantee you this is an issue. Oh, they are color coordinated. Can y'all see that? Yeah, y'all can barely see it, but so I guarantee you that's what's going on with this thing. Oh, and it's got a hole at the top of the plastic. So I guess what I'll do is I'll double check to make sure the bulbs aren't blown, and I will hook the wiring back into the harness and go from there. If I have something real funny happening, I'll record it, but if not, it should just be as simple as putting those wires back in. I might have to just hard crimp them together because this seems to be a big issue. They don't, I mean, whatever. That's a whole nother spiel. But anyway, yeah, I'll double check the bulbs and the connector and whatnot. The main stuff is going to be the ball joint and inner and outer tie rod on this passenger side. I don't know. Actually, my stand might get that low. So I'm going to try to record that. So I'll be back. So just a little quick update. I'll show y'all what I did with the wiring. But one of the bulbs does have water in it. Luckily, I had one spare. But yeah, we got a little chemistry beaker over here. And the holes, I mean, you can see this thing, the lens is cracked all up. I used to have red tape of this, but I don't know where it went. I don't know how well this tape, it's like vinyl tape. I don't know how well it reacts with water, but I think sitting out in the sun will hopefully help heat up the adhesive. And I put 3 layers on it. I'm not too worried about the cracks because in case water does get into it, I want it to leak out. But yeah, there was two holes right here that I covered up. And I'm not even going to try to call the parts store to see if they can get a lens because I'm going to guarantee that it's not possible through them. But anyway, I've already checked the lights. They work. And in an effort to try to keep it so they don't rip it off, I found the mount. I put it back on the mount and I zip tied the harness right in front of where it goes through the body. Can't see without a light, but hopefully that fixes that. And I'm going to put the lens light back together and we'll move on from there. All right. here we are, taking this all off. I had to make sure I had the ball joint tool here because I wasn't sure if it was something I brought from my shop or not. But, you know, I got the wheel off. Still had the keepers from the factory. Probably something I'll probably threw back on. If a vehicle still has them, I like to use them. I have loosened up the ABS cable. Speed sensor cable. Disconnected the 10mm bolt for the brake line. Be careful. Can y'all see that? Not really. Be careful. I know these things push in, but the plastic is so small. Like this one's actually thicker for some reason, but right here it's so small. Just try to disconnect it from the tab because I can tell you it's going to more than likely break if you try to pull it out like a plastic clip. So, going to get this caliper out of here. This one actually uses a T55, and I'm not going to record every single little thing. And I've been trying to test some of my little tech I got going on. I didn't realize I could have my earphone stuff Bluetooth into the phone while also using the mic. But what it does do is it cuts off the music that I'm listening to, and for the sake of not being DMC'd and whatnot, I don't want to have any reason for someone to tell me to take the video down or whatever. So, this is where we're at right now. I'm going to take the brakes off, the rotor off, and then we'll have to disconnect the upper and lower ball joint. What would be real nice, and I don't think I can do it, is to loosen the upper ball joint and have enough room because the ball joints are both pointed down. So this whole knuckle has to go down. What I would like to do is loosen the upper and possibly push it down all the way. It would still get in my way, wouldn't it? Yeah. Just going to have to take it all off. Screw it. Anyway, that's where we're at. These things are just so heavy. These 1500s to 3500s, especially if it's a dually and has the extended, I don't know what it is, the hub plate or extended hub on it. My goodness, man. I mean, that thing has to weigh like 70 pounds by itself, and you got to try to get the bearings, make sure the bearings stay there. Anyway, so that's where we're at, and I'll keep updating y'all as we go. Whew, boy, that was a pain. You can't really see it. I got the knuckle right here. Speed sensor's still connected, but it's not. I mean, yeah, sure, but it's not taut. It's not tight. It'll be fine. Done it many times before. And before y'all get in comments talking about the brake line's actually a lot looser. So if the speed sensor broke, I'd rather replace that than brake line. I beat on this knuckle. I think in my own demise, I don't know, because when I finally got it to loosen up a bit on the ball joint, I put the nut back on. I mean, this was still in the upper ball joint hole. I put the nut on it to line it up a little better, and I hit it like once and it finally dropped. But yeah, that was quite a bit of pain. Using two type of hammers, a smaller one and a bigger one, and a fork. I don't really have a good air hammer, but anyway, here we are. We got to knock this ball joint out. And the outer tie rod, you can see it. The outer tie rod is pretty bad in itself. It feels like it has no grease left in it, and I thought that was a tear. But yeah, it probably has maybe a year left or something. depending on how much it's driven. But we'll knock this out. This is the original ball joint. I don't know. Can y'all see it? From factory, these GM ball joints have these 3 areas. Maybe it's 4. Anyway, I'm going to clean this up a little bit. I just swept the floor too. Yeah, it's 4 of them. But in a perfect world, you would knock these notches back in and press it out. In my experience, I've never done it. I've just pressed the ball joint straight out and it's fine. Getting it started, you might have to put a few more ugga duggas in it, but it's fine. This upper ball joint has some grease left. Doesn't feel terrible, but unfortunately, you'd have to do all this again just to do that. But I'm only doing what failed them for the inspection. In fact, you can actually grease this one. Can't grease the outer tie rod, unfortunately. If that was so, I would probably throw it back on. But since you can't grease it, I'm just going to go ahead and replace it since we got it. So this is where we're at. I'm going to get the press set up, press this out. And then I've already got the nut loose for the outer tie rod. And we'll work on getting the tie rod done since we got a little more room. And we'll go from there. Alright, so I got everything set up. Should be lined up pretty good. I've already put some torque to it. Now what you want to do, I might have to realign it, but we're going to crank down on it a little more, and then we're going to hit it with a hammer down here at the ball joint. Because sometimes it'll get caught up, and if you jar it like that, it'll actually loosen the tension up. And you don't want to, I've heard, not this particular one from Harbor Freight, but there's another one, I think it's an Icon. I don't know if they have changed the design to make it stronger, but it's black. I don't know what it's made of. Casted something maybe, but it's skinnier. And I've heard horror stories about them splitting on people. And one story I saw on the internet, he actually got injured. He had to go to the hospital. So just be careful. There's a lot of tension, a lot of pressure going on with this type of situation. And you just want to, live to see another day. Walk away with both your eyes. In fact, I can kind of see a little something going on down here at the bottom. Just tighten it up just a bit. Try to get this a little bit more. I don't think I'm going to be able to get it anymore. I'm just making sure that our sleeve isn't catching the ball joint. All right. I kind of expect to see a little more movement than this at this point. Yeah, this thing has been in here all its life. Alright. We had exceeded the power limit of our impact. You know what? I can't remember. Let me just double check. I don't believe these things have C-clamps. But if they do, I'm going to feel like a big dum-dum. There's a little screwdriver I can use. Get some of the dirt out the way. I think our sleeve might have been biting into. It's hard to tell. And with these generic type of. Yeah, I think that's the ball joint. I think that is our issue. Okay. Well, that can't be. It has to be part of the actual control arm. Although it doesn't really look like it. I tried taking this boot off before. I think I'm making more leeway this time around. Try to get this boot off so I have a little bit more view of things. There we go. Alright. All this really isn't going as smooth as I thought it was going to be. But usually these gym ones are a bit of a pain. Let me wipe this grease off so I don't have to worry about cleaning this off. All over the tools and whatnot. Something I don't really like about this job. Mechanic work. I don't mind getting my hands dirty and stuff like that, but like grease, something that just smears all day long, I don't like getting into it. Alright. Man, I think that is part of the ball joint. No C-clip that I can tell. I didn't think so. Because it would be at the top. But yeah, I think it's the sleeve that's hitting the ball joint. But I tell you, I mean, you can see where I've used this before on these GMs. I don't really like using this big old one because you really don't get it seated completely. Now, I don't think I have that kit here. I got a kit at my own shop that has quite a few of the other attachments from Harbor Freight. And they have one where it's almost specific for GM products. Yeah, I think that's going to be the best I can do. Oh. always fighting a ton of heavy parts and tools. I'm going the wrong way. What's going on? There we go. Stupid upper control arm. Try to get a little more centered back here. Okay, take two. If I have trouble again, I will knock those notches, but I've never done it. They eventually push through, in my experience. Yeah. Start walking on us. All right, Meow. Come on. I think it's the fact of this sleeve here. Not gonna be able to get it to have a good seating point type of deal. Whoops. Come on. My arm's getting tired. My foot's falling asleep. Yeah, I don't like the way this is sitting either, guys, but there we go. See, what did I tell you? What did I do one time? It was some, like, not real old, but an older Hyundai. And I mean, the lower control arm was nothing but a piece of sheet of metal. And I kid you not, it was probably that much space for the ball joint to sit in the steel. I was like, I mean, whatever. I mean, I replaced the ball joints and things were fine, but it's just like, why can't we, you know, give us a little room to do stuff? Now, I will probably have to lift the truck up to put the ball joint on. But yeah, see, you can just press them out. They'll come. As you can see, right here is where I had that smaller sleeve. And I didn't realize that, I was wondering, because I've always tried to figure out the best way to get these lower ball joints out. Yeah, see, that's why we couldn't do anything. Thank goodness we didn't blow our face off or something. But yeah, I might opt for them to get the other additional set from Harbor Freight. I swore maybe it's just that wheel bearing kit. I swore we had one here, but I don't know. Just like the days kind of blend together, sometimes my work blends together. I can't remember what exactly I have at my shop versus what they got at this one. Well, anyway, we're here now. I think we can use this one when we put it in. But I'm going to stand up and walk around for a little bit because, like I said, my foot's falling asleep. My back's getting a little grouchy, and I will clean this up. In fact, I don't feel any burrs or anything, so I think we're pretty set. I'm just going to clean this dirt and stuff off the top, clean the work area up a little bit, and we'll be back. So I think I got everything situated. I would have showed a lot more, but I'm trying to, I don't know how long all this is going to be. So this is a CarQuest ball joint, a lower ball joint, and it should be actually the same for, I don't even know how many years of like Chevy GMC vans, work vans, and trucks. I believe they're literally all the same. The only thing that I know that is usually different is the upper control arm can be different. Well, I take that back. The lower control arm on like Tahoes and stuff. But if I'm not mistaken, the ball joints are the same. But anyway, that's the part number for this ball joint. And CarQuest has a nice idea by using a boot protector so you don't damage it when you put it in. But with this tool setup, I always have to take the boot off because this jaw is just not big enough. Um, I haven't tried. I've never used another type of ball joint extractor and presser, but that's been how I've had to use it, just so I can get up to the plate of the ball joint and put it in. I think this plate, if I'm not mistaken, this is the right setup, and I should be able to just press it in until it bottoms out. So let's go ahead and do that. Shouldn't have to worry about walking too much because it's a flat surface. The only thing is this stupid upper control arm in the way. Well, it looked like we were bottoming out, or something didn't seem right. And we were, so I was wrong. So we were bottoming out on this plate. And that's another thing, guys. Do it little by little, because you'll end up damaging something if you keep cranking. So, which I say that, but then when I was trying to extract it, you saw the issue I had. So, where did this go? Man, I cannot remember how. I think I can. See, that's got that sleeve. I don't know if I like that. I forget how to do it with these. Don't necessarily want to do it like that. I think that's going to be the only option we have. Oh, I'm just double checking. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, definitely was bottoming out on that. Gonna clean it again. I cleaned up the area, wire brush, broomed it, sprayed it with some brake cleaner, and then I put grease on the inside of the ball joint. It's probably placebo, probably does nothing. But one thing I do know it will help with is rust. And this is a greasable ball joint, so just always make sure wherever the zerk fitting or the fitting, I don't know, I always get confused on the fittings. Just make sure it's in a direction you can get to. This one was pointed towards the rear of the vehicle already, so I'm just going to point it towards the rear of the vehicle. So we know this one is perfectly fine as far as the circumference, the radius, and I think we can just use the bottom of this thing to pull it up I just want to make sure the sleeve is a little more on the control arm. I'm gonna try to move the bottom just a tidbit. Yeah, it's not really helping much. It's this stupid control arm. That's what it is. I think we'll be alright. I just would like to be more squared, but oh boy, our light up here is in our way now. We can put more room at the top versus the bottom. That should be out of our way, right? Guys, sorry, there's a tractor trailer. Alright, let's draw the finishes back up. Alright, that should be done. You can feel it, but you also want a visual inspection too, you know? Yeah, we're bottomed out. I mean, all honesty, as long as it's not loosey-goosey in its home and you can get the C-clip on it, it should be fine. Oh yeah, we got plenty of room. So that's what it's going to look like. Just make sure, like I said, you got room for your C-clip. And that's a brand new ball joint right there, buddy. Hard as can be. Oh, me. Whew. Make sure I didn't damage anything. I don't see it. Okay. Oh, my foot. Whew. I'll tell you. Being at my shop and having a lift is so nice. But this company, you know, I rub their back, they rub my back type of thing. So I don't mind. And if I get slow at my shop, I have somewhere that I know I'm always going to be able to at least make some type of money. So that was it, guys, for getting the ball joint out and in. I don't think I need to show you how to put a C-clip on. In fact, I got to go get that tool anyway. And this is with the ball joint press, the Maddox. Man, you really got to go any further? It's a Maddox kit. It comes with generic sleeves and whatnot. Here is the part number, MA10-1. Don't know. I don't think they've updated it at all. And I have one at my shop and got one here. And oh, I got a special tool for the inner tie rod that we're going to use. I always like to try to keep everything nice and the same. So this is what it looks like. I don't know how much it costs these days, but it's pretty decent. Works pretty good. I mean, the issues I have experienced with it is just, you know, obviously it's a small box. The attachments and the sleeves and whatnot are, you know, limited, pretty generic sizes and whatnot. And just like any other ball joint press, or as this calls it, service kit, it's just the size of it. And you know, you saw we were fighting with the upper control arm and whatnot, and it's just, I mean, it is what it is. The only other things I have had, I think it was on a Dodge, like a 98 2001 Dodge Ram 1500, is because those have an actual, like, physically put in knuckle. I don't know how else to describe it. And it was kind of a pain to get the upper and lower ball joint out. I think the lower one I ended up cutting. I think it was a Dodge. Maybe it was a Jeep. But anyway, let's move on. Getting these tie rods in and putting this thing back together because my poor knees and my feet aren't enjoying sitting on this hard concrete. Okay, so I got all that in. I put some grease in the ball joint. You can see the clip in it. A lot of times these fittings, they or barely got any thread screwed in it. That one was actually nice, a lot nicer than the past couple I remember. So now we got the old inner ball joint off. I don't know if I can. Here, let me take the mic off. Here, let me get this piece of metal out my. So yeah, um, I got the inner tie rod tool out. Again, another Pittsburgh, comes with all these different sizes, and I was going through the sizes, and I'm like, oh man! And I finally got to the last one, and I see it's got some marring. So, because I have replaced, I think, one tie rod for these people. So what you want to do is you put that on. In reality, I don't know. It's been a little while since I've used this tool. I got one too. But anyway, you put the ears through here and lock it in. Oh, y'all can't see. Put it through here and then lock it in. And the worst part is this has to be on the inner tie rod. And I've already checked. This just uses Loctite. Man, I'm running out of dirty little towels. I know some manufacturers use like an indention locking plate, almost like a axle nut, where you would torque it on and then dent it, like Subaru. At least my Subaru those years did. But these just use Loctite. Let's see if we can have a smooth interaction here. All right, let's lock it in if possible. I'd like to. I think this A arm is. I mean the sway bar is impeding us. I think we need to go up a little more, but I think that should work. The worst part is y'all are kind of in the way, and I don't know. There we go. I know, so many lights flickering. Which one is it? Well, I'd like to see. So let me try to just do this fast. And it shouldn't be reverse thread. It's just going to be the Loctite that's going to be the hardest thing. Oh, there we go. Now let me get a ratchet. Yeah, this. At least I hope. Yeah, okay. I was hoping it wasn't like stripping the tool or something. I maybe shouldn't have extended it out all the way. I actually turned the wheel all the way this way, but I did it just so I could have more room. If I pushed it back any, I don't think it's going to help anything. So let's clean this up a bit. Was there any Loctite on this thing? Well, what's that? Kind of smells like Loctite. I find that hard to believe it would still smell like it, but anyway, clean it up a little bit. Spritz it with the sauce. Just try to wipe it clean. Oh yeah. What is that I feel? I'm not sure. It feels like pieces of metal. Only on that one side though. Some. Oh, it's a hole. Not sure what the hole is for, but yeah, it's right there. Is it for the boot? Not that I see. This boot does have one of them breather hoses that's supposed to go side to side, but almost every single one I've ever seen, it's the hose is either falling off or it's or like loose on one side or it's completely gone. So let's did I do that this time around? The poor tool does not seem to be very strong, but I guess if it does the job, huh? Alright. Oh, enough lollygagging. Come on, box. I don't want to tear you completely up in case they gave me the wrong thing. No Loctite. Interesting. Well, luckily we got some. Even though it may not call for it, we'll just put a little dab of it. Because, I'll say, I replaced mine one time on my Subaru. And I failed inspection because it was coming loose. Sorry guys, I'm just making sure that they're the same size and whatnot. You always want to do that just to be sure, because they're going to have to get an alignment regardless. I can try to get it as close as I can, but you know, I don't have a machine, and eyeballing it only gets you so far type of deal. I'll take this nut off because we're going to have to put the boot on. I really wish there was something I could do about the flickering light situation. Oh. Alright. Let me put some Loctite on this thing. Even if all I have is blue. Man, this thing is rusty. Alright, that should be enough Loctite. I have a feeling this poor van doesn't have many more years left in her. They've actually told me they just want to use it as like a spare van, so when they get work done, people have something to drive. Man. Yeah, I don't want to strip the threads out, but these ball joints are hard as can. Let me turn the wheel a bit. I don't want to do this, but it might just be better off. Tell me, guys, is that a good spot? Turn the wheel maybe a quarter or a half a turn, because I don't want it to go too far in. I keep having to move the ball joint, but I think we're on enough threads where I don't have to worry. I don't know, maybe I'll try turning it. Oh no, because I don't think the. Here, let me finish spinning it. Oh, I think we. Nope. There. Oh, no. A little bit more. My weak hand. That's as far as I can go with my right hand. Do I have one? Yeah, I do. Okay. Let's go ahead and put our washer in there. Yeah, what happened? This is what I'm talking about. Okay, so I can get over top of it, which I would hope. Oh, sorry, I'm hitting the mic, guy. Is it the rod you caught on? Oh, there we go. Make sure that the oh, don't you just love it, guys? Alright, take two. Yeah, it's a stupid sway bar, man, and I do not want to have to disconnect it. I think I'm gonna have to go back in the car, the truck, the van, turn it back all the way to us. I don't know if the steering wheel will lock or not. I'll just be safe and use the key. All right. Oh, my knees. My knees. Okay. That didn't help at all. What is going on here? What's going on here, Sugar Plum? Well, our lock mechanism is not in the way. Am I? This is interesting. I really don't want to take this sway bar off. I got you off while you were here. Here, let me go the other direction. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I still can't use the lock, but we will go with what we got. Try to spin it and hold on to the stuff. Alright, the ratchet's done. I'll give it the final little push with, I don't know what this thing is, a 2 foot? 2-foot bar. Okay, that's got to be good now. The Loctite will have to pull the rest of the job for us. We were eating into the metal a bit, but that's fine. Okay. In case y'all are wondering, like I said, this is another Harbor Freight Pittsburgh tool. I believe the number for it is 63705. So, in case you're looking for one of these, don't want to pay someone to do your inner tie rods. I don't know if they actually have another type. I don't know if Icon makes one, but this is a specific Pittsburgh one. But yeah, I don't know if Icon makes one or not. Actually, there'd be a good thing for somebody in the comments if you know if Icon makes their own version. Put in the comments. How does it rate? Now I would show you the part number and stuff for these, but some of these vans and stuff don't use steering racks, so I don't want to draw people to another lane when it doesn't apply to them. What I think I'll do is I'll just throw this outer tie rod on, engage from the old inner tie rod about where it's supposed to go, and then I'll turn y'all off. And ew, she really greasy. Why didn't y'all put that much grease on the outer or the inner tie rod? Oh man, I thought this thing had a fitting too. I was so happy. I was like, well, at least this one I can put grease in. But I was wrong. Oh well. Okay. Well, it does not look like this nut has a specific orientation. Alright, before I get too overzealous, let's go ahead and put our boot on. I should have greased the shaft. Man, I'm not sure where. I mean, that's bottomed out right there. Yeah, let me, I don't think. I mean, the boot is a little hard. Yeah, let me get some grease and grease that up. And I'm going to put the nut on the outer tie rod, try to gauge it. The rust, I think, was coming off of the nut. It was actually, I don't know, can y'all see? Yeah. The alignment was somewhere about right there. So I'll do that, get everything back together, and I will make a ending or something unless something comes up. All right, so we're done. This is the passenger side. I've aligned it best I could. That's the passenger side we did. This is the driver side. The driver side, I mean, I don't know. We're on a machine just eyeballing it. And yes, the steering wheel is as straight as possible. So that's it, guys. I think we did quite a bit in a rush. Not saying that somebody couldn't have done this in a day, but the little bit of time that we did get it done, I think we did pretty good. And I didn't have a lot of grease. I greased up the ball joint a little more after we had tightened it up. Tried to grease the upper ball joint. I didn't really have much grease to put in there. And that's about it. Tightened the nuts up on the outer tie rod, and that's that. I'm gonna let them know it's ready to be re-inspected. And that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the bell. Uh, Hit the hype button. I don't even know what that. No one has ever explained it to me yet. But I don't know. We got another van here that is having a window regulator motor issue. I believe it's the motor. I've replaced the regulator twice, 2 or 3 times with the motor. And I started thinking, I was like, man, I think I have a motor I pulled off of a bad regulator, and I do. And I'm pretty sure it's to that van. So I think the motor is bad on it, locking up. I got it to roll up just a tidbit yesterday, but I think that's next on their agenda to get inspected. So, and as far as I know, that's the only thing it needs, unless there's a light out somewhere. But that's it for this one, as far as them wanting to get inspected and what it failed for. So thanks for watching, and we'll see what we got next time.